So today I decided to do something a little bit different for Dead by Daylight. And we're going to discuss the new upcoming 6th anniversary, and I came up with like a little wish list. And let me know what you guys would like to see and what you guys think of some of my characters that are in my list. And I just wanted to talk about these different characters because we have new ones already. Our brand new chapter is out. Chapter 23 with Sadako, and you got Yoshi Asaka on the screen. This is one of my favorite chapters. It's so much fun. She's super scary. And now we're going to talk about, just with this video, speaking of scary, you guys are going to be seeing that screen effect for, throughout the video. So I just wanted to have the game running in the background as I discuss these different characters that I came up with for maybe potential 6th anniversary wish list for characters that could be a part of it. Who knows? But I'm going to start with the character that I want to see the most in this game. I think I always wanted to see him added into the game regardless of his size. And his size never mattered when it came to the movies. In the classic, they even got the TV show. I can't believe they still have. They brought all the original actors from the Child's Play movies all into one. And I'm going to select Chucky as my top candidate and my top favorite, most wanted character that I want to see in this game. Maybe they can potentially get him for this game for the 6th anniversary. And I thought, why not? Because season 2's already been confirmed for the TV series. I enjoy every single episode. It's such a good show. And I have so many other characters that I want to touch upon throughout this video. And most people say that Chucky's too small. Wouldn't that ever matter in the movie? Because that never really stopped him from getting what he wanted and trying to take people out. And just like he says, it's not the size that matters, or it's not the size that counts. It's what you do with it. You see, so it's just one of the. I think that was a quote from Bride of Chucky, if I believe. I love the movies. I watched all of them, even some of the remake that they came out with. That's completely different, where Chucky was ran electronically. He was a little bit more advanced in comparison to his original look. He was so different, and his goal was being a buddy. So I don't know if what kind of version of Chucky they can get. Maybe they can get him from the remake, but I would prefer his original classic, where he's not so advanced and based on technology. He does what he wants to do, and I just really think he would be a good fit in this game. You got Sadako, as short as she is in this chapter. She's scary. The developers made her work, and I think that they can make any one of these characters that I'm going to talk about in this video work, just even with Chucky's size. And just a little bit of ideas I'm going to share. I'm not going to talk about every separate ideas for any individual character because that would make the video way too long. But for him being my most wanted top favorite character to be in Dead by Daylight, with his size, he doesn't need to pick up the survivor with his own on his own. And just as is evident, because Sadako doesn't really pick us up, she uses telekinesis. She uses her power to lift and pick up the survivor and put them on the hook. The entity itself can help Chucky put the survivor on the hook and carry him or her to the hook and be able to move on to the next survivor to go to be hunted down throughout the matches. So it's just so many different things that he can do. And just with his chant and his unique chant that he says when he's going to try to take over the soul of Andy Barkley. And speaking of him, that could be a perfect survivor. See, the Andy Barkley that we have in the Chucky TV series, they can probably get him or maybe someone else from the particular show and implement that particular character as a survivor to go along with Chucky in the brand new chapter, or maybe the anniversary itself, to be bundled all into one package. Now, a potential skin, or maybe an alternative skin, see how we have the male and female Legion in the game that are both playable. They can get Tiff or Tiffany. She could be a playable cosmetic that can be a legendary that the player that he or she wants to purchase off the PlayStation Store or whatever platform that you play this game on. You can be able to buy the cosmetic for both Chucky, and you buy Chucky, and then you can get the alternative costume or a cosmetic off the shop being Tiffany. And they can play similarly, but she can just obviously have a different voice lines. See how Pinhead can talk in the game now. So they can really make that chapter work. And just with his iconic laugh, I would love that. And I could just really picture picture him being in this game. So I think Chucky would be a good idea and a good little pick for a nice little anniversary character and a crossover between the Chucky TV series to promote the TV series and also will promote the season 2, the upcoming season 2 TV series for this year that's set to come out later on for 2022. It'll be a good little collab for them to have him in this game. And I hope that he gets in, even if he's not part of the 6th anniversary, maybe someday as a brand new chapter, it could be another unique collab. And they got all these iconic 90s serial killers with Myers, Freddy Krueger, the list goes on with Ghostface, all these amazing horror movies I love watching. And all this other characters, they're still missing characters like Jason Voorhees that could be in this game too, but we don't know if he can possibly even make it into this game. But I didn't put him in my list. So that's Chucky and Tiffany that I wanted to discuss for maybe some playable characters for this potential 6th anniversary wish list here. So we already have a clown, but I got my favorite clown up in the list. Pennywise the Clown himself would be a good pick. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people want to see Pennywise the Clown outside of just Chucky, but I think Pennywise deserves a spot in this game. Even though they can have 2 different clowns, I would rather have Pennywise than the clown we have in this game. Even though he's unique and he's an original character, he's not a licensed character. We can just be able to have someone else to be able to be added in this game. That's another clown. And we got 2 people that's running around with chainsaws. You got Billy, he's the original character. See what I'm saying? Billy's the original character, and he's old. Is the old original character for DVD. Now we already have Leatherface. So you got 2 different characters that use chainsaws in this game. What's the hurt adding another clown with his own unique abilities? And I can just picture his Mori. He can just eat the survivor, devour the survivor. That'll be pretty cool. Just take one of their limbs off. That'll be really brutal for Pennywise for a potential Mori, because he goes crazy in the movies for It, the original It, or Stephen King's It, and It Chapter 2. I'm not sure if they're going to do another movie. Chapter 3 might be coming out sooner or later. Who knows? But Pennywise would definitely be a good pick. I don't know too much about the Five Nights at Freddy series. I haven't played much of the games, but I've seen them before. I know a lot of people like Springtrap. I think he'll be a good little pick. And just seeing the gameplay, play around with the cameras, being able to teleport to them, and similar to how Sadako is in the game. See how the TVs are in it? He can get to these different cameras and be able to see you from different viewpoints or different angles around the map, maybe. And he can probably have some perks that can really help him out to be able to locate these survivors. I don't know any other animatronics that they can probably put in the game besides Springtrap that people might want to see for the most requested character from the Five Nights at Freddy's series. But regardless of who they can get, and maybe I would like someone at least from the Five Nights at Freddy's series that I think that would really be some fun and some scary stuff happening into the game. I went as far as adding Leprechaun into my list. I don't know if you guys seen the Leprechaun movies before, but I wanted to put him in it because I love the horror movies, and it'll be fun having him. Even though he's another short character, just like Chucky, he still can probably play and be pretty dangerous. And just a little bit of a quick little idea, you can distract him with gold. So I can visually see the survivor picking up maybe just pots of gold and maybe gold coins around the map that can be picked up in interactions. They can be interactions. See how you got the cases for Nemesis on the map where where you take the vaccine and to get rid of the infection or the virus to stop him from doing even more damage to you with his tentacles. Why not have pots of gold around the map that the survivors can interact with and maybe they can throw? See that throwing animation for what I was going to say autodidact, but devotion, I believe it's called, for Adam's perk. That can probably be some kind of it's not a perk, but just some kind of interaction or a brand new action where the survivor can throw gold coins or a little bits of gold to distract the leprechaun, and it'll stun him for a little amount of time, and then he can just get back onto the chase and be back on the run to go after the targets. So that could be something that I can really see added into the game for Leprechaun. And his lab is pretty hilarious too, just with his unique abilities and whatnot. He's going to be super fast too, but who knows what kind of abilities he can have. But I can definitely see some new interaction with gold or maybe something like that for him to get distracted with that can help the survivors out. So while he's distracted with that goal, you can have enough time to work on that generator, finish it off, or just be able to get some kind of separation before he starts chasing you. So that's a little idea for the Leprechaun. Candyman is next in my list, and just with the bees, he can probably just use those summons to come after the survivors, and they'll be able to flock around the survivor, similar to how the artist is implemented when she sends the crows. Maybe he can send some bees to go after you, but instead of flying around you, they can be able to automatically injure you. So it'd be really cool to see that. Any little honeycombs around the mouth, something. Just a little idea, but I know he's gonna attack with a swarm of bees and just different things that he could probably say unique voice lines. And another survivor like Helen from the original classic, they can get those different characters from the movie, even from the brand new movie that recently came out. They can do something like that in the mix up to change up the characters for some little unique ideas for a Candyman chapter. Anybody remember Pumpkinhead? That's another classic that I remember, and I'm not sure what he can do. It's been so long since I've seen the movies, but it's just another iconic horror movie that I liked watching from back then. And it's just all these unique characters they can get in. I think Pumpkinhead would be a good pick too. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. But now, just for a couple characters, my next three I selected from the Outlast horror game. Outlast is one of my favorite scary games, and I definitely recommend it. I played them out of order because the stories didn't really connect. You can play them in any order because they tell a different story, different unique encounters, and totally different characters that you run into and encounter as you play the games. But I put Marta from Outlast 2. She would be really dangerous. As tall as she is, she can be swinging the axe and be able to swing. She can have some crazy little mories too. And they can take from the Outlast 2 of what she does and what she says in the game itself. And she was so scary because I just remember when I was playing, I just ran out of batteries and I was just trying to roam around in the complete darkness. But I got lucky enough to find my way because I couldn't even see anything because I ran out of batteries for the camera itself. But it's just such an iconic horror game. They got characters like Resident Evil. Why not take another iconic video game series from people who love playing the Outlast series? They can implement that as a little licensed chapter for maybe a anniversary, possibly, or maybe some kind of future chapter for this game for Marta for Outlast 2. And going to the first game, I selected Chris Walker, or Strongfat, the big guy from the first game, and also the doctor himself, who would do these little creepy these gruesome experiments on these patients in the first game. If you guys remember playing that, I think those would be two great killers that they can put into the game. His name is Dr. Rick Trager from the game, from the Outlast 1. And I forgot which character that you end up running into first. I think it was the doctor and then the big guy, Strongfat, or Chris Walker, that you end up running into for Outlast 1. So they're both two scary killers, and I think they'll really have their own unique abilities. I can see that Dr. Rick Trager being able to just slice you up and have his own little personal quick experiment as a Mori to cut you down to size. I think he'll just have some really brutal attacks, and especially with the Moris, with Marta, and then just what I mentioned with Pennywise earlier. Rick Trager and Chris Walker would be some good picks from the Outlast series. With Marta, if they can't get anyone from the first game, they can get Marta for the second game for Outlast 2. And let's say, for example, they decided to do another collab for Resident Evil. I just came up with Albert Wesker and William Burkin. I think those would be some good picks for the Resident Evil series. But they can get some other characters like Carlos or somebody from the other series. They got Leon, Jill, Chris Redfield, and Claire. So they can probably get Carlos maybe in the mix. But I was gonna say, who else was a STARS member? They can get Barry. Have Barry come out with Albert Wesker. That could be something. A new playable character for a Resident Evil crossover. But he can be his own individual skin. They can just continue to just add it as a brand new cosmetic, as a little surprise on the shop, the in-game shop, if it's not like a character himself But Albert Wesker, he's going to be dangerous, and then William Burkin already is a force to be reckoned with from the Resident Evil series. And then just back to video games and movies, just in the mix. Most of these are like gaming sort of characters that I selected. Slenderman, I really liked that game. I really enjoyed playing that, and then also enjoyed the movie, even though it was really different. But Slenderman can also be a character. It was a great killer for this game. I'm not sure what kind of survivor they can bring out with them. He'll probably just come out. He can be his own individual chapter. Not every killer needs to have a survivor. They can just have a individual chapter, just like Ghostface. He's by himself, even though they couldn't get Sydney in the game. The killer can still shine in his or her own way, just coming out by him or herself for an individual chapter for Slenderman. So I see him coming out by himself. I don't think he's gonna have. There will be any sort of survivor to be included with him. And see how we got the ring for the Ringu for Sadako Rising Chapter. I selected Kayako Seki from the Grudge. Y'all remember that? And the noise that she made, she was like, see, that would be really fun to really see. It's scary. It's a little scary just hearing her. And as she gets closer, it can start off slow and then it get louder. Something like that. That'd be really cool to see in this game. I would like to see the Grudge. I think that's another good chapter that can be perfect. It's another classic horror I loved watching. The Grudge 1 and 2 being my favorites. And then speaking of classics, I went for my last character. I slipped in Norman Bates from the Psycho movie. I don't know if you guys seen that before, but it's so many characters. We got all these characters from the game that are unique. These are unique survivors. And then they did someone from Left 4 Dead, individual survivors. Even though, just going back to saying what I was saying about the killers, even though it's if a survivor does, or even if a survivor is not included with the chapter itself, they can take a survivor from that movie series or that video game series. It doesn't always have to be a killer. It can just be a potential survivor to be taken. See how they have Ashley from Evil Dead. The Evil Dead game is coming out, but they came out with him way before. I think it was during like an E3 session. It was a surprise drop. The same day that he got revealed was the same day that he released on the game. So you just never know what they're going to be doing, what they're up to next with all these different characters. With Resident Evil, you got Leon and Jill running around. You got Chris. You get Chris and you get the Redfields. So they can get like survivors to be associated with these different chapters for the 6th anniversary. But that's just a little list that I came up with. I don't want to go too long, but it's just so many unique ideas, and I think anyone can make it into this game. And I never really imagined having the ring in this game, because it's like once I saw it, I completely forgot about this movie. I seen it and I knew of it, and you seen it in a scary movie from just the scary movie funny references and stuff like that they did in the scary movie series for the comedy purposes. It's just like I forgot completely about this movie and didn't think that they would be able to get an actual chapter. I didn't see and picture that. But you can picture so many different characters and different killers to be implemented into this game. So that's just a little bit of a wish list for the 6th anniversary. And even though maybe none of these characters might not even be able to make it part of the 6th anniversary, what's there to say that they won't probably ever be able to get in the game? You never know. They got all these great characters in it, so why not? All the potential is there for a survivor or some kind of killer to be able to make it, to be included. But let me know what you guys think about this wish list. I just wanted to come up with something different today and just start talking about some of these characters for the 6th anniversary and maybe some characters that might be able to make it as a future chapter.